behind, like before our very eyes. So live updates to all y'all. Well, I mean, super sort of live because we do have that stream delay.
Apparently, LNF is the new abbreviation for Lost and Found. Pigjunior says, "What's that? INF?" No, it's Lost and Found. He's having it explained. They're going to get into map soon. Awesome. Yeah, I think this is going to be really interesting because we've seen Maru, I think, instill confidence in bio players recently. You know, he's shown some amazing play. Of course, the big thing everyone's thinking about is the 2-on-1 with the very quick double tank and the double upgrades behind it. But, you know, we also had a period recently, which I think Terrans are still kind of bouncing back from, where they were massing Ravens. And I know Pigjunior, my brother, he came over to my house and played on my stream a few days, and there were a lot of Ravens and Ghosts. There was some very, very slow closing out of games, and the thing is, you can't do that anymore. The Ravens are not as powerful. Those Shredder missiles, you need so many of them to get the same damage output. So I think definitely the way this could work in Pigjunior's favor is he's expanded his skill set to include more late game play. He's not as just a tempo focused player. On the downside, there isn't the Raven crutch to rely on in the late game. So it's a much more back and forth kind of Ghost Liberator war, as opposed to the Raven boom boom explodey bombs just destroying everything.
Indeed. And it's really quite pleasant on the other side as well. The other opponent here, Iaguz, to see him still do so well, having picked up the Zerg pieces about a year and a bit ago, and still finding himself within like top 8 territory of a very, very scary bracket. So,
oh yeah,
well played, well played. He has those incredible mechanics, and it's clearly starting to pay off for him here, even though he's picked a new race.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Zerg does kind of match Iaguz's style a little bit more anyway. You know, there's a race that's very good for kind of playing a defensive game, but then mixing in certain aggression, but macroing behind it. I mean, Zerg just, I think, plays to Iaguz's style. And you know what? It's pretty normal for a Zerg to get a third hatchery, as opposed to his obsession with third command centers going down at the beginning of the game when he was playing Terran, which is a little bit of a crutch. So yeah, we're going to go into map number 1. It's going to be Lost and Found, Zerg versus Terran. Let's see how this one goes.
Yes, indeed. In the bottom left here was the man in question, the Zerg player representing OSC Elite. This is Iaguz.
And up here in the top right-hand side of the map, in the red, the Terran player, it is Notorious Pig, or Pigjunior.
However you want to look at it. It's Pig's little brother. And I like how he just has that ability to just be like, oh, I'm not playing much, and then still just make top 8. Like,
yeah, this is why I think as you get like beyond 25 and onwards, as like anyone who's involved in pro gaming or competitive gaming, you hate 16-year-olds more and more. Or I think he's actually, yeah, 'cause he's still 16, I think. So yeah, basically fast hands, too much free time, and apparently not a lot of practice, which is probably 4,000 games. But they make it sound like they don't play that much anyway.
Just like when Stefano was saying that I don't play much, but it was like just a casual, 2,000 games a season.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, sure, you haven't been practicing that much, buddy. But you know what? It's going to be a good game here. We've got a gas first and an SCV scout quite early for Notorious Pig. So this is interesting. Probably just going to be playing some Hellion Banshee, I would imagine. Very solid opening. One which he does favor a lot as well.
He certainly does. And he is kind of the guy that was in the old days when it was being really phased out, still kept that 2-1-1 dream alive. Really, really good multitask. And we'll see if that comes into play again. Hasn't really decided whether or not he's going mech or bio here. I don't even remember Pigjunior going mech ever in TVZ. I can't think of a game that he has anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't pop into mind for me either. I think he did tell me he tried mech for a little while. Found it really difficult to adjust, and then he watched Hero Marine stream. Hero Marine was like the one Terran who was still playing bio and beating top level European Zergs consistently, and he was like, no, if he can do it, I can do it, and just went straight back to bio play. But he definitely did add variety to his play, over time. Learned the Hellion Banshee, learned a few different openings. So yeah, here we go. Things are going to be starting to heat up, and looks like that Reaper kind of just going to make sure that fast third base doesn't go down. But Iaguz, is he going to get it? No, it looks like the Reaper's going to get there in time.
Attempt to extractor and save the drone, but he can block the extractor with some fancy footwork here from the Reaper. Oh, just gets that extractor.
Yeah, well done there by Iaguz to change directions. Of course, if the Reaper stands right next to the extractor, you actually can't place it down because it takes up a bit more space than the actual thing. Ooh, he's going to get a nice little drone kill. Good start here. And it looks like Iaguz is going to go for the other hatchery, which I always find a little bit more exposed. But you know what? We saw Risky do this earlier today. And because it is a bit more wide open in front of there, we saw Risky really crush some engagements defending that hatchery. So I don't mind it for Iaguz. Risky showed how strong it can be. And I'm sure Iaguz is well aware of that as well.
Yeah, certainly. Ooh, Link's heading into the main base. So, I mean, the Overlord already scouted what he was up against. But, you know, the Lings do get a couple SCV kills, which is probably the most important thing here. And I guess already had that Overlord on the way. So his supply block isn't going to last very long. He's got his drones popping out here. He's all good. Just sending those drones back into the natural. Looked like he wanted to transfer over to the third, but then rethought that. He's like, nah. It's going to be a hot target soon for however many Hellions Pigjunior gets out. He's just got the one at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's a good start, getting the Overlord so early. What's interesting about, of course, Pigjunior's build here is he did go for a just single Hellion. So it's like, it's not really a Hellion opening. He's like building Marines nonstop, and he's getting a fast Viking. But the thing is, you see this as a Zerg, and it's one of the most confusing openings because there's so many different ways Terran can go from here. On the plus side, though, you know there's no Hellions, and that makes things a little bit simpler for you. As the Zerg player, you say, okay, well, I don't really need to worry about a Hellion run by. Maybe I can be a little bit greedier. Iaguz, though, taking no chances, has built a pretty well-sized pack of Zerglings just for safety. So, interesting to see how this one plays out.
Indeed. It's going to just be Biotank on the way here for Pigjunior, something that I know and love him for. One of the most exciting unit compositions against Zerg. Now, does Iaguz go for the tried and true Ling Bane Hydra here as his composition rounds out, or does he go down that different path? I know that there is like a few Zergs are starting to throw Mutalisks back into the mix here in this matchup.
Yeah, you know, Mutalisks have never been bad, but they do hit the field a lot later than in Heart of the Swarm and Wings of Liberty, so you don't always have the window to get big damage to them, so you've got to be very clever and careful to not just like, oh, I'm going to build 20 Mutalisks right as their push gets to me, and obviously they're a terrible unit in frontal combat, so gonna have to see how that one winds up. This 3 barracks is up so early for Notorious B.I.G., and he's already got 2 tanks out. This could go into a very scary, fast Marine tank push. 1-1's now starting. I think it will just be like a 3rd CC, maybe built on location. But I think there's like a really scary stim timing, or even potentially with stim and combat shields, 1-1, and probably about 3 siege tanks. So really cool to see how this one winds up. The creep spread, though, Iaguz using the lack of pressure to get that very far out.
Yeah, and he has, like, as we mentioned at the beginning of the series, really incredible mechanics. So his creep spread, when unchecked, is quite massive as a big strength of his play. We got a bunch of units of Notorious PIG just moving around the map, looking for whatever, trying to catch an Overlord, maybe send out and see if there's a hatchery being taken here or there. You can see that just on the left-hand side, Notorious has grabbed himself. He's managed to get a Hellion through that wall of Lings.
Hey, Viking
there on that 4th base location.
On the bottom right, he actually landed his Viking and sniped a single tumor. The Queens are like, yeah, here's 4 more, buddy. This Viking is actually like really sad because he has searched the entire map and has not found a single Overlord. Iaguz here just
That's
saying,
amazing.
Everyone builds a Viking. He lost his first Overlord before it even popped, and there was nothing else on the map. So the Viking is just been wandering around. A bit of wanderlust, kind of just going, oh, I'm really introducing more stuff here. Notorious BAG accidentally left a tank at home there for a second, but he is now moving out 3 siege tanks, 2 medevacs, a ton of Marines. A 1-1 is almost finished. There will not be combat shields with this push, but it's still quite a scary sort of timing.
Yeah. A lot of Marines with 1-1 and stim and tank support. There are some really nice locations for tanks on Lost and Found. And in the middle of the map, it's a little bit dicey. But once you get to this location here where Notorious is heading towards, there is a great peninsula for a couple tanks positions to really pressure that 4th base. And it looks like that's where he's got his sights set on. Right, that peninsula right there, he just put his tank, is a great spot.
Yeah, his 3rd CC is finishing at home. Armory's kind of getting close to done, so he will be able to start 2-2 in the near future. So, and this has definitely got to do a little bit more damage. Right now, Iaguz has just got a monstrous economy situation at 66 drones. Bane speed's still a while away, though, so this is what he's going to get. The cancel on the 4th is good. I think Iaguz... Ooh, huge Ling flank on the tanks.
Yeah, the tanks actually had no Marine support at all. All the Marines were down here on the low ground, so the tanks get taken out very easily here. And Iaguz is left over with almost too many units. And he's like, well, I got to do something with them. So he's marching across the map.
Iaguz here, just in the absence of pressure, has exploded into a gigantic economy. Yeah, his upgrades might not be that insanely fast with like Baneling speed only now kicking in, but I think that's enough. And here we go. He's going to go for the counter attack right now. Maybe overcommitting a little bit on these Marines. I think this is a good trade for Pigjunior, as he does take down a lot of those lings. But oh my lord, the Bane speed finishes as the Marines are chasing. That's a scary moment, but the Marine splits are beautiful, and that siege tank doesn't even go down. Oh man.
Oh, dude, a lot of Banelings wasted on that siege tank there from Iaguz. A little bit of indecisiveness. He took a lot of damage there and lost his entire army, bar 40-odd units, which are in eggs right now with those lings on the way to replenish his forces. That was such a huge amount of gas and minerals going out there for Iaguz. You see that he's not been trading very well in this game so far. Pigjunior trading a lot better, at least to this point in the game. Both players very, very even in upgrades as well. 2-2 is actually almost identical for both players as far as timing goes. And Iaguz is going for Hydras to round out his composition.
Yeah, another rotation on the north side of the map for PIG. He's going to be coming down there and trying to get an angle on that base. I'm a bit worried about counterattacks for the Terran player, as he's rallying everything out to in front of his third, and his natural is wide open right now. He's still got a very scary Terran army, though. 2-2 getting close-ish to done, but the upgrades are almost completely in line for both players. Here we go. Baneling's trying to come forward out into this. They're going to just charge off creep here. He tries to redrop those Marines on the front, actually distracts that army for a while, but it's not going to be enough. There's just too much Zerg here. The momentum from early in this game now being carried through, and Iaguz, yeah, he might not be mining from a fourth yet, but has he really needed to? No, not at all. Look at the worker count. Only now is that third getting saturated for the Terran player, and with the tank count continually getting reset, that's a lot of the sieging, pushing power just falling away for our red Terran.
It cancels those Banelings being morphed here aggressively in front of that third base. And Pigjunior is just still making that the Marine tank forces. He's about to have 2-2, but so is Iaguz. And Iaguz is heading towards Hive with a fifth hatchery all the way down the south. It's not saturated, it's just being used for production at the moment. But of course, he will start to rotate those drones around, and it will start being a lot more effective for him as the injects start to kick in. +3 attack immediately as soon as +2 finishes for Notorious PIG. But he hasn't got that +3 armor yet. Instead, he's going to use that money to get a second factory. Because really, his siege tank production on one factory generally isn't enough against this kind of composition that Iaguz is throwing at him.
I like that he's sitting back, though. Look at this. He's just kind of building up siege tanks and like setting up for his fourth base, and he's starting to posture on the north. But this is like an evacuation force. Like it's ready to just pick up and leave the moment the Hydras get there. As long as he does that properly, it creates the distraction, which is all he wanted. The drop on the south side finds the expansion, and he's actually going to drop 2 mineral lines at once, exploding into the multi-prong. But the Hydras on the north catch 2 of the medevacs. The other 2 barely get out.
Oh man, that drops to the north, just escaping. Wow. But in the meantime, on the south side of the map, Notorious gets 15 drone kills.
That was
Iaguz still
nice
somehow
trade.
with 70 drones though.
Droning during the midst of it. That's the power of a good Zerg player. You recognize immediately when you're about to lose workers and you replace them, so they're almost instantaneously back there on the bases. But it looks like Pigjunior are about to start pushing across the map with his siege tanks and Marines as well, trying to push this creep back. There's so much of it, and that's buying Iaguz a lot of time. If we can see the Terran army push this creep back and really use the terrain to get some nice siege tank angles, it might be nice. But look at this. Iaguz is just going to jump on it. He's just going to dive on this army. The Marines are way too clumped right now. There's too many Banelings. I don't think he can hang on. Oh my lord, a good spread, but there's just too many Banelings in there. Most of the Marines do go down.
A big reinforcement of Lings here could clean this up completely. He gets rid of most of those Marines, and more importantly, cuts into the tank numbers as well. More drones are dying for Iaguz, but he still has just way more remaining where that came from. In fact, another 12 pop out, bringing him back up to 82. So he's just a monstrous economy here, and he's meeting the Terran off creep in the middle of the map. He doesn't care anymore. There's just too much Zerg.
Yeah, just a little bit too much firepower here for Iaguz. Able to jump on top. It's not the cleanest engage, but it'll do. He's always got just a barely few too many units, and this works so well because there's so much pressure on the Terran to slow down this creep, to get in the Zerg's face. He knows there's Hive Tech out. He knows there's higher level upgrades, 3-3 and Adrenal on the way. You don't want to just let the Zerg keep getting to the next stage freely, not with this amount of creep spread, but look at this. Iaguz, the moment there's a lull, he immediately spreads creep, not just in one direction, but all over the entire map. Lost and Found getting infested by Iaguz. He's adding Vipers, more Lings, more Banes, and every second that goes by, Iaguz's lead is compounding.
Yeah, those mechanics really showing off here for Iaguz. He's coming in with his Hydras on the high ground. He has some units in the south as well. Looks like he might actually consolidate his forces here and go for a big push. He's got those Queens coming up as well to help out, or even to replenish the creep that he's losing to this scan and push here of Pigjunior. Those tanks are in a pretty decent spot, and he's got a Liberator with his army as well. But the Liberator I don't see being too effective here. There's still quite a few Hydras remaining for Iaguz. Iaguz hasn't gotten the tier 3 structures down yet. I haven't seen a Great Aspire, I haven't seen an Ultra Cavern at the moment. So he is still on Lingbane Hydra, but he is getting 3/3 upgrades and Adrenal is done.
Yeah, I mean, with the Vipers out, that's like the big thing here, right? It's all about the Viper usage versus the Siege units. But you can see Pigjunior realizes this is the threat. He's starting to spread these Siege tanks and lives out very well. Going to make it harder for the Vipers to deal with them. He is trying to clear the creep, and he wants time. He actually wants to wait a little bit till a few more units rally across before he forces the fight. But Iaguz is max, and I don't think he's going to give him that time. I think he's going to jump on him right now.
And here come the Vipers, yanking that Liberator, yanking the tanks as well. No blinding clouds, just grabbing those tanks and pulling him out of position. And he is collapsing all over Pigjunior with way too much supply of Zerg. GG, Iaguz gets game 1. And a very entertaining back and forth there on Lost and Found. It seemed like Iaguz was losing a lot of drones, and I was getting concerned for him there. But he, like you nailed it, Pig. A good Zerg knows exactly when to drone, and Iaguz was certainly one of those good Zergs.
Great play. I think there was, what I was fascinated by was how well Iaguz defended the first big attack, right? Remember those Lings wrapping around the siege tanks? And there was this moment where the medevacs were going to go save the siege tanks, and they realized, like, wait, there's Lingbane about to crash through my Marines as well. And the medevacs were like, save the Marines. Like, it was this position where Pigjunior was just outnumbered. He gave too much freedom to Iaguz in that early stage. What impressed me, though, about this play was that he got back into a pretty good position. Normally, after that first pressure goes that awry and there's that much creep spread out, you're like, well, things are looking pretty bad, Terran. I think he got back into a decent position after the drop, but there was that one push through the middle where he had like 60 Marines in that big ball, and I felt like he just wasn't able to spread them quickly enough. I think if those Marines were pre-spread a little bit, or if Iaguz was a little bit slower to jump on that, Pigjunior sets up a push. He gets like to clear the creep back. The siege tanks start reinforcing more in. The fourth beast is up. But the moment that push got routed, it was like, okay, your siege tanks have just been reset too many times. Like, you just lost them too many times. Each push is like, I've got 2 siege tanks, or I've got 3 siege tanks. It was never that moment where the Hydras and Banes are like, we're breaking through. Wait, there's another 2 tanks. Wait, there's another 2 behind that. And that's the moment where Zerg loses in these situations. Without the tank line going that deep, I feel like, Iaguz was able to just jump on top of it, keep control of that game, and a very, very impressive win for the Gimli Zerg.
The Gimli Zerg. That's going to take some getting used to. I know he's been Zerg for like literally a year and a bit now, but
it still sounds weird.
My muscle memory wants me to say Gimli Terran. But we are going into game number 2 here, with this guy in the top left being up on match point. This from Legacy. Not from Legacy, what? From OSC Elite, this is Iaguz.
And facing off against him down here at the bottom right-hand side, my little bro representing Legacy. It is Victorious PIG, Pigjunior.
Actually representing Legacy. So, SCV's heading out across the map here, and he is going for ye old proxy barracks. Now, I happen to know for a fact that Iaguz has lost to this once or twice. It is going to be the Reaper variety by the looks of it, as the gas goes down back at home.
Yeah, and like this is like 13 barracks. This is so committed. this is like the fastest. Like, these Reapers get in there so fast. They're just going to jump up that back door, and I don't think Iaguz's Overlord is actually on a pattern to see this. Oh, actually, this barracks is going to build just a little bit further to the right than I was expecting, but no, on that path, no way. And if you don't see that till the Reaper gets in, it just comes down to a micro war. It's like you need to be so quick to save your first few drones in like extractors and micro drones to fight, pull back weak ones. It is a hatch gas pool here for Iaguz, so it's like kind of the greedier edge of builds. Definitely going to be really tough to hang on. Do we think there's a third barracks? Oh my lord.
Oh my god.
It's as all in as they come. It is just going to be non-stop Reapers into that main base, and it's all mechanics, all micro. Can Iaguz weather the storm? He's not going to have any warning of this whatsoever.
Second gas going down here for Notorious, so he can start to get that wall-off happening, and he didn't drone scout or anything like that. He's just relying on his overlords for scouting information. So he doesn't even know that there's any proxy of any variety. The first notice of this proxy is going to be when the Reapers run past that first overlord.
Ooh, actually this SCV might be a tell, but Iaguz might be thinking, oh, you know what? Oh, it's like a proxy. Oh, is he actually going to build a bunker? He is. Oh, you know what? Pulling drones against this is kind of bad almost. This is really fascinating. I haven't really seen this with the bunker before, but it's really hard because I'm sure Iaguz is thinking about 2-Rax Marine. This is out of the meta. We haven't seen these proxy Reaper builds for quite some time. It's going to be very hard for him to adapt on the fly. He won't have a lot of practice against this in recent months.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit dicey here. The Lings are out, and the Queen's going to be very, very important here for Iaguz, but without Spine Crawlers, any kind of static defense against these Reapers, they can run circles around the Zerg. And there goes those first 2 Reapers here into the mineral line. Dodging the grenades nicely so far. It's actually not even lost any Lings yet.
Yeah, didn't lose any drones either. Everything's getting heavily bruised, but so far, no real damage from Notorious, from Pigjunior. But he's got those 2 SCVs coming back in the front. The Reapers are rotating around. He's got a bit of a timer on him. He's got to start doing that damage. Yeah, the Reaper count gets scary as it grows, but remember, these grenades are not the grenades of the Beyond era. They do not do 10 damage. They take longer to cool down. You can't spam them out nearly as often. These are definitely not as strong, and just trying to wait for transfuse energy. Iaguz needs to heal up those Queens. Good micro.
He's got transfusions on one of them.
Yeah.
Gonna juice up that other Queen in a second here.
Going to try to focus that down. Kills his own SCVs to build more Reapers. Pigjunior with a bit of a supply block, but quick thinking to try to make the best out of a bad situation. It's going to be just bouncing around with these Reapers, trying to come in and do some damage. Constantly keeping those Queens bouncing around. Ling speed's almost done. He's got to be very careful. Gets back to the ledge and does evacuate those Reapers for now. That's a lot of Zerglings, but they might be getting ahead of themselves.
All right, yeah. I was going to say, going out deep here is a little bit risky. He's going to lose a few of those Lings for free there. And speaking of supply blocks, Iaguz had one for a little bit there as well, but luckily he's lost enough units where he can start to replenish. He's got Lings in the main, engaging those Reapers. Mass KD8 grenades coming down. Oh, just missed an opportunity to kill the hurt Reaper there. And Iaguz is coming back with those Queens. More Queens are popping as well. He's got 1, 2 more coming out of these 2 hatcheries. Keep in mind that Junior is super all in here.
He's got no wall off at home. If any Lings go across the map, they get straight into his mineral line. He's got to keep the pressure on. Like, there's no transition from this. This is absolutely bonkers. He's got to kill Iaguz with this push. He's getting some really nice efficiency. Of course, the Reapers heal whenever they're out of combat for a few seconds, and still the Reapers not really going down at all. The count just continues to grow. This is insane. Getting up to 13 Reapers, soon to be 16 Reapers as more and more pop out. The Queen's getting heavily bruised. They don't have transfuse right now, but they are gathering up energy. Iaguz continuing to grow. His Ling count is just looking so scary. If you can get a wraparound, that's going to be it. The Lings, they hide, they go for the flank, but there we go. He doesn't actually cut off the reinforce. A bit of a missed opportunity for Iaguz. The Reapers survive for now, but I think the unit count might just be getting out of control here.
I like that he's trying to go for a spine crawl, but it looks like it might be a little bit late here. The Queen count is getting a little low. Big surround of those Lings around those Reapers, but they just all still live. They're covered in butter, slipping and sliding all the way through. If you can get a spine crawler up, that's going to definitely help quite a bit here. As Notorious's power, the power of these Reapers is the ability to jump into the main and into the natural and go back and forth. Straight on that new fresh Queen, trying to grenade juggle her, but oh, down she goes.
Oh, my lord. Good transfuses, but look at this. There's so many grenades now. There we go. The Lings are just going to commit. It's all about this grenade micro. Is it going to be enough? I think Iaguz getting a little bit too ambitious with how he's chasing this. The Lings are getting very bruised, but he gets the wraparound. The wraparound on the right-hand side is massive, but the grenades are just as good. Wow. And all of the Lings go down. 11 Reapers standing strong. The Queen's running. There are 0 Zerglings out on the map right now. Has Pigjunior managed to break him with this mass Reaper all in? He keeps shuffling these weak Reapers to the rear, but more Lings come out there. Those red hit point Queens survive for now. They're gathering more energy. They want more transfuse.
Now they certainly do. What an incredibly action-packed game too here. That spine crawler is going to make it a little bit tougher for Pigjunior. If he comes up into this main base, he's going to take a lot of damage. He decides against it.
I actually think if he kept his barracks landed and was reinforcing Reapers, he would have been able to break him, but he actually,
I agree,
out of the push, lifted those barracks home, and while that does give him a wall off and a factory, there's no command center down. I mean, it's okay, there's only 19 drones for Zerg. The problem is this Ling count suddenly becomes scarier. If he loses these Reapers, he's gone skis. And the thing is, I think he's got to back off in the near future. 8 Reapers against 33 Zerglings, this is madness.
Yeah. He's getting double starport back at home as those barracks wall off. What are these starports for? Banshees? Liberators?
Got to be double Banshee. We're looking at some full Star-Lord play right here, man. This is some ambitious, like, Terran Haas memes we're seeing coming out. You know, he's like, command center's one of these. Gonna try and surprise with, obviously, you know, a bit of a wild transition. And with so many queens out, you know, it's like, well, Cloak Banshees can surprise, but they're definitely not going to overpower against the queens. They've got to try and catch with no detection. And these Reapers continuing to be annoying, but the Lings have had enough. They're going to come with the wraparound. I don't think Iaguz misses this.
Yeah, this time the Reapers have nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. They get that surround, and the Reapers will get taken off the map. So now Iaguz can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief that the Reaper phase of the game is done. But now he has to worry about, all right, you crazy teenage kid. What do you got for me now? What's up?
Yeah, 2-port Banshee in the back of the main base. Cloak is started up, so basically you wait for 4 Banshees, maybe 6, probably 4, and then you just kind of go around the edge of the map. Maybe even go with the first 2. And if there's no spores, you know, it can absolutely have a chance of catching your opponent off guard. He's going to go straight for Hyperflight Rotors as well with all that gas he was mining. All right, Speed Banshees, why not? I love it. Just Marines and Hellions building other than that, so not really going to be a strong ground force to complement it. You might think about a command center, but I feel like it's just like the plan is kill with this or do game-ending damage, you know, like it's all about momentum, it's all about tempo, it's not about, oh, I'm going to build up an economy and do a bit of damage in transition. It's very much, let's do everything right here, right now. And with all these Zerglings scouting, luckily the barracks spots them, so the Banshees can weave around that vision. But look at this map vision from Iaguz, he's like so keen to see what comes out, but I think the Banshees are going to find their way around it.
Yeah, they do. They certainly do. And they're gonna have Cloak shortly. Speed's a little bit away, but it's something that's going to be very, very annoying for Iaguz to deal with. He has no Hydras, he has no Spore Crawlers even, so...
Yeah, no layer yet either. So I'd love to see, yeah, I think Pigjunior's like, okay, there might be a Zergling up on the top right. I don't want to show this. So he's just kind of waiting. And the thing is with, yeah, no spores started, if he can slide these across the map, they can totally equalize and get him back in this game, but he's got to get them all the way across. And he's got to kill like 20 drones plus. This is not a light bit of damage he needs. He needs to do so much, man.
And Iaguz is making a Roach Warren here, and I can tell you for free that the Roaches are not very good against Banshees.
Not at all. 28 more Zerglings on the way as well. I think Iaguz is like worried about what could be coming, but safety spores. Smart man. When you're not sure what your opponent's doing, but you're infinitely ahead, think about what could possibly trump you. In this case, it's invisible units, invisible flying units. But he hasn't built a spore in his third. And that is a big mistake. Lair is about 23 seconds from finishing right now. Banshees are going to show themselves. Hyperflight Rotors kicks in. The Banshees fly in, and looks like they're going to go straight for the drones. He sees that there is a spore. Maybe going to try and take the queens down and just like get rid of the anti-air. That's one way to do it.
Yeah, certainly. He is getting rid of these queens. They are starting to get low. One Banshee gets taken out, though.
Yeah, a bit nasty on that one. But man, these Banshees, the queens just can't escape him. Look at this counterattack. Just Roaches and Lings running across the map. But there's a tank. There's a tank and a Hellion on the high ground. That's not going to work. The Banshees are going to start focusing down the hatcheries. Oh, wow. The 2-port Banshee into 3cc behind this. Yeah, that siege tank says no way. There's Banelings morphing. He's going to try and mass Baneling bust the barracks wall off. Oh, man. There's no way that's going to work.
And especially with this Banshee as well, Knas to start picking off those Banelings one at a time. Queen pops here and starts to nail on those Banshees, but they just turn and fire on her, and she goes bye-bye. And so there's a natural Iaguz trying for the bust, but it's against a wall of high hit point Terran structures. PIG's going to get to repair this barracks. The Lings are in.
Oh my lord.
The Terran can just lift their stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing damage here. He's going to get in and kill the SCVs, which is big. The Banshees did kill the hatchery. They pulled away. He's trying to find damage with those. His Banshee will eventually clean up at home. And you know what? There's not enough Lings left. He's not going to get the massive SCV kills he was looking for. 3 Banshees at home. The other one's coming home across the map. How many Banshees have we got? 8 Banshees out. against 2 queens and 36 drones. There are hydras popping out, but this game has just entered the chaotic Twilight Zone weirdness. We are just watching the bloody X-Files of StarCraft right now. I don't know what's happening, man.
Oh, Pigjunior's got a natural up, and Iaguz has got this one base to hold here. He's got Hydras out, which are going to help for sure, and +1 attack as well, which is going to be nice for the Hydras against these Banshees, but the Banshees are still so high in number that I feel like they can actually A-move through that army that Iaguz has in his third. There's just too many Banshees.
Yeah. Only 6 Hydras, that's like not enough. And I think the main base is actually the most exposed. You can just kill a Spore Crawler so quickly with this Banshee count. You know, if Iaguz focuses down the red hit point Banshees first, that's going to be big, but I don't know if it's going to make a difference here. Just look how quickly that falls. Oh man, that is huge. And the Lair taking a lot of damage. He's just going to go fight this. The Overseer's a little bit behind. He already loses a Hydra or 2 before this even really begins. And there we go.
That might be it.
Wow.
No GG from Iaguz. And Pigjunior gets himself a tied series here, 1 apiece. Iaguz not too happy with how that game played out there.
I could not be more proud of my own kin right now. You know, big
flesh and blood.
Flesh and blood, man. The legit strategies. Honestly, I think he just won there through pure masterminding. It was an intelligence, really, I think, that brought that victory, and it was, you can't doubt the decision making. It's flawless.
Oh, I think Notorious PIG is actually going to make Iaguz even angrier here, because I know that Iaguz is one of those guys that wants to just start the game, and Notorious PIG is just taking a short bio break.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, yeah, that was an interesting turn of events in that game where the no wall off at home as well. That's one of those games where Iaguz will like watch the VOD of the replay and he'll be like, oh, so if I like randomly ran like 6 slings across the map into your mineral line, I would have killed all your workers. Like, you know, it's like the vein throbbing on Iaguz's forehead as he kind of processes what happened in that early game. And then the fact that he survived it, you know, and then he barely survived it, got on top of it and then let it slip away. The power of the speed Banshees coming in.
Yeah, those Maserati Shis, they're so quick, they're so deadly. It's actually amazing, like, even though the Banshee is a lighter unit with not many hit points and they generally are pretty easy to take out, their damage is incredible. They're like Hydralisks in the sky that can cloak.
Flying DTs.
It's incredible damage. The flying DTs, that's right.
They are a good unit. You know, it's funny because they are so fragile. So there's something a lot of players struggle to use, and it definitely is a huge gamble going for this sort of play. Like if those queens got behind the Spore Crawler, or if there was like an Overseer out with them, that first pack of queens with transfused, you know, suddenly can be so powerful there. But very decisive play from Pigjunior. He scanned ahead and was like, oh, there's the queens, just get him. He knew what his win condition was, which was get rid of the mobile anti-air, and then you can start focusing down the hatcheries from out of range of the Spore Crawlers. Worked out very well. And the final match in this series is actually going to be Dreamcatcher.
Wow. I don't think I've seen this map yet.
No, it's kind of a wild map. I know some Terrans were complaining, saying there's too many counterattack pods, but you look at the terrain for like siege tank pushing through those ledged cliffs and stuff, and like reaching across into the expansions. It's brutal for the Zerg as well. So I think both sides can definitely come off the worst end on this map, and it just creates very interesting gameplay where map control is huge.
Yeah, I think that might be one of the reasons, like the exact reasons you just mentioned might be why Iaguz wants this map. Just to try and be annoying, you know, get those attack paths, use those attack paths rather to pull a fast one on the Terran, run by and actually do damage.
Counterattacks. I think it's going to be interesting no matter what. We've already got them loading into, joining up into the map now. So looks like it was a very short bio break. Indeed. I can't wait for this this next map, see where this one goes. Of course, the winner of this will be playing against Hut, I believe, in the losers finals. And then the winner of that goes up against Probe. So these guys are all already the top 4 players in the open qualifier. Already have very high seeds locked in for tomorrow in the top 16 playoffs. Indeed.
Oh, man. I'm getting a little bit excited here. I feel like Pig, the Notorious PIG, Little Pig, not you, can actually do this. I guess I would still favor him. I think that he's a very, very strong Zerg. Game 1 showed me that Iaguz, when he's unchecked, is an incredible player. Like, he loves that mid game. He loves that late game. He was always like that as Terran as well. He liked the later stages of the game. He wasn't afraid about, being economic focused and rolling on with that advantage. But when it comes to early game shenaniganry, that's always been his Achilles heel.
All right, here we go.
Yep, here we go. You do it.
The top left-hand side, I'm stealing this intro from you, Maynard, because he is my own flesh and blood. The red Terran player taking a very wonky game number 2 to tie it up. Once the game number 3 in the red, it's Pigjunior. Playing for the Legacy, of course.
And the bottom right, speaking of Legacy, this guy has a pretty long one with this region. It is OSC Elite's Iaguz, the infested Terran.
Love reading the reactions in chat to the end of that previous game, as we do, as it does catch up, of course. Competitive integrity and everything with online tournaments. We do have just a couple of minutes of delay on these broadcasts whenever it's online matches being played. But yeah, things have been very interesting so far. We are going to see an SCV scout off, looks like a barracks gas this time around from Pigjunior. So not going for the gas first like he did in game 1. And only 2 workers mining the gas. That's a mistake. Unless he goes marine first. If he goes marine first, it's on purpose. So we'll have to wait and see.
It doesn't look like it's marine first. It's like, wait. I can't afford my Reaper yet. Yeah, there it is. Where that 50 gas at?
Yeah, if he doesn't realize, that could really throw off his timings throughout this
There's actually so many times I've been in a game where I'm like, what? I'm supposed to be able to afford my Cyclone now. Why do I only have 50 gas? And I'm like, oh, that second gas has only got 1 SCV in it. Yeah.
It is going to be a 2-1-1 play, so this is actually one of the plays where you don't mind having less gas. So who knows? Maybe it's a conscious decision. I thought it was a mistake, but we'll find out. It's going to be going Reaper into Reactor, just a 2-1-1 opening. So 2 barracks, a factory, a starport, double stim medevacs. Great way to play on a map where your bases are spread so thin. And it looks like Iaguz is going to go for the southern expansion. Okay, fair enough.
All right. Just going to that geyser first, just in case he needs to save that drone. He's expecting that Reaper, and he can take that third, negating the Reaper harassment completely here from this base at least. Now, the 2-1-1, like you mentioned, is really, really good choice for this map. It's got high mobility. It's got the ability to heal those units, lots of high damage, timing attack as well, which automatically makes it pretty powerful. It's up to Iaguz to read what he's up against. He doesn't have a prevalence to, like, drone scout, I've noticed.
Yeah.
He's one of those Zergs that just relies on overlords for information.
Yeah, it's something where, I mean, going for a drone scout is not a bad play against someone like a Hut or a Pigjunior, who obviously there's a good chance they're going to throw out a proxy barracks at some point, something a little bit cheesier. But, Iaguz is like, no, he likes every little bit of economy. He's never liked worker scouting at all, even as Terran. He loved, just get the money up, have the build order. Unless he has something he actually wants to react to that happens more than like 10% of the time, he's like, no, don't even care. I'd rather just have 9 times out of 10 that extra bit of minerals from not sending that worker across the map. That's just the way he chooses to play the game. Definitely gives him a kickstart in his economy most of the time. So it's good stuff.
Certainly. I guess setting those lings out now across the map just to see what's up, seeing if there's any units heading towards him, any Hellions or anything like that. He still doesn't exactly know what his opponent is up to. He hasn't sent links to his natural just yet. He's just doing it now, droning up as well. And he does, this round of drones is very, very safe. It's the next round of drones that you got to be careful for. Like if you're making another round of drones around the 4 and a bit minute mark when the medevacs heading toward your side of the map, then that's
that's where it gets a little bit dicey, a little bit hashtag dicey. If we want to go back to our 2014 memes. Basically he's going to go for the carapace upgrade. He is going up a few more workers, and this is such a nicely saturated third base for Iaguz as well. Just only mining off 1 gas. He's even going to add a second evolution chamber now as well. So yeah, he really wants to squeeze out the double upgrades, just defend with Queen, Ling, have this monstrous economy. And of course the hard bit is establishing a 4th against the double medevac stim drop. It's always a little bit tough, and those medevacs loading up and not actually going across the map. Okay, there we go.
All right,
He wanted one extra Marine, I think. He was like, nah, I do it with 16 Marines, or not at all. We don't do this with 15 Marines. We wait for every Marine to load into that medevac.
I'm one of those guys as well. I'm like, no, my medevacs aren't full. I'm not going yet. Put a hold on that. Belay that order. Unloading here between those rocks. The Marines fit between those rocks, but a lot of units don't. He's going to scan and get a few tuners here. And Iaguz does have a good number of queens, so I can see him holding this. And oh my god, Maru also just 4-1 Classic.
Maynard here, professional as always, keeping an eye on the broadcasts in the back of his head as well as in the front. He's a multitasker. But you're a StarCraft player.
That's right. I'm a StarCraft player. I can cast one stream while Twitch chatting while watching another stream.
My man.
Tell me I didn't just do that, chat. Come on now. Jeez, that's TY versus S is a massive upset, and that's a massive upset as well for me. I mean, not as massive as TY losing his S. I think that's an even bigger one, but Maru 4-1 in Classic is huge. So TVP final, cool.
Yeah, it could be very exciting.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree with that one, man. But for now, we do have this Widow Mine coming in here, trying to anchor this push. Ooh, that's a nasty little Widow Mine there.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't want it to go off on a Queen, though. He wants to bait the Lings into it. Ow!
So many Marines! Oh no! I wish I didn't know how that felt.
Send that Widow Mine to Guantanamo Bay or something, because it was a traitor, dude. It does not. Oh, that was some war crime stuff. That was not what you meant to do as a Widow Mine. Knocked out a ton of his own Marines. Look at the supply. Todd's just there, nodding his head somewhere in the background, recovering from his 24-hour stream right now, waking up and enjoying the disparity. Because right now, Pigjunior has a huge road ahead of him to get back in this game.
I think that Widow Mine might have been infested. There's no way that was an actual real Terran unit. Some Marines just using those little terrain ledges here to be annoying here against the Zerg. You know, as much as there are a lot of attack paths here and a lot of ways for Zerg to get around the Terran, these terrain like walls make things a little bit easier for the Terran when it gets to the siege tank part of the game, which we can see Pigjunior heading towards. Obviously, because he made some Widow Mines, there's not as many tanks out as he normally would have, but his army is finishing up. He's starting to get 2-2 upgrades, and he is starting to produce those siege tanks. He has at least a couple out. And could potentially cancel this hatchery. Iaguz is out of position here.
That'd be nice. Iaguz is coming down there with his units, but isn't aware of where they are right now. He's just kind of setting up map control, spreading creep through the middle. Iaguz very focused on the middle of the map, but yeah, he's going to kill all these Marines. Not bad. Does save a few of them at the last second. Once again, Pigjunior taking such a late third. Oh my gosh, that supply. And down in upgrades this time. Only had the money to start +2 attack. Didn't get +2 armor started. It's going to be a tough road here. We're going to have to see some epic splits, some sick plays, and some very nice drops, I think, for Pigjunior to get back in there.
I feel like Pigjunior is giving Iaguz the kind of game he wants to play, which is that later stage, letting Iaguz spread out that creep, which is looking pretty fantastic, by the way. He's got a lot of Queens, he's got Lings and Banes for days, and plenty of drones. And that's a very comfortable spot for the Zerg.
Yeah, one drill boy has decided to join in the fight. He wanted to be a marauder or something like that, but oh man, that's just too much Lingbane. Trying to get some efficiency here, but the Queens are very frightening and loads into the red hit point medevac. Ow, ow.
I also wish I didn't know how that felt, but I do. Yeah, it's like you're just mass clicking on your medevacs to save your units, and unfortunately one of them only has 2 hit points. It's a stiff breeze away from exploding. Notorious PIG is just like, no, I'm lifting the third, I'm out of here. The counterattack would potentially kill it.
And it's kind of a smart decision, hoping for the Zerg to overextend. Iaguz is like, no, dude, I'm Iaguz. I sit in my side of the map until I'm maxed. If I ain't maxed, I ain't moving out. Like, this is how, Iaguz does like a little Ling run by here or there, but what he's enjoying more than anything is the creep spread. Iaguz knows the sick feeling in your stomach when you move out as Terran, and like the second you leave your base, you're on creep, and you're like, oh, so do I type GG now or after I get my army massacred walking into the middle of Zerg territory? Because it's impossible to win when you're down in supply and this creep on your doorstep, and that's like Iaguz's win condition clearly in this game. He's like, nah, just spread creep. Every time he gets it past a hedge or a cliff, that's one less position where these tanks can abuse him. And Iaguz getting massive control over Dreamcatcher right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Pigjunior starting to work on it a little bit on the left-hand side here. Looks like one of his queens might go down, but there's a massive counter-attack here from Iaguz in North End. Ooh, catching a lot of those queens. Very nice. Very nice.
Ooh, big counterattack here from Iaguz. Is going to dive on into that natural and the main. There is a single siege tank on the high ground, and that's about it. Baneling's in the third. Oh, my lord.
Oh, my God. Looks like +2 might burn down. He might actually finish +2, but he's on top of the Overlord farm here. He's getting a lot of them. Now, Iaguz still has more where that came from, and he can come home with the Banelings that he's got left over. I don't think Notorious PIG is going to win with this attack, but he kind of has to. He's lost a lot of SCVs.
33 Banelings coming home, more running out of the natural. The splits are sick. He's got this like sick 360-degree arc of Marines around the Banelings, but it's on creep. They're coming from both sides. And nice desperation effort from Pigjunior. But Iaguz a little bit too much stuff. And while he does use up most of his army supply doing it, he's got a casual 77 drones and 5 bases behind it. So Pigjunior, unfortunately, not able to make this one work. I mean, it was a very aggressive opening, and the Widowmine that apparently was infested by Iaguz using his ex-Terran skills to turn it against Pigjunior.
Right,
it took the wind out of his sails. Like, it was already a good defense by Iaguz. You add the Widowmine shot, and it was like, oh my lord. From there, Iaguz has just jumped on everything this game. He has spread his creep so consistently, and this is the powerhouse Zerg Iaguz, which we like to see, which we don't like seeing getting eliminated in the early stages of these qualifiers to Zerg vs. Zerg.
Yeah, certainly. Looks like our Terran hero here is about to tap out here. He's losing a lot more units, and again, his economy hasn't been touched in a while. He hasn't been remaking SCVs, probably not even bothering, because it's just too far of a journey to get those SCVs back. And he is warm buttery toast. We're going to see a tap out shortly here from Notorious as he loses more and more bio and medevacs to the Ling Hydra. GG. Iaguz with a 2-1 victory.
Sick play by Iaguz there. Just brings it home. Clean, furious play from Iaguz. I love seeing him bring it back and shut that one down. That puts Iaguz in our top 3, fighting for that higher seed. Of course, he's going to be going up in a Zerg versus Terran against Hut just up next. And after that, winner of that faces off Probe